Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive paradox. Why, after decades of corporate training, modern leadership still feels kind of broken. If you've ever worked for a boss who talked a really good game but didn't walk the walk, well, you know exactly what I mean. Today, we're diving deep into Jon Antonucci's profound work on servant-minded leadership to figure out how a truly noble idea got derailed, and more importantly, how we can actually fix it.
All right, let's just dive right into it with a super provocative question. Antonucci actually hosted a webinar with this exact title, and honestly, it hits the nail right on the head. Think about it. For over half a century, the corporate world has literally been drowning in leadership seminars, books, and off-site retreats. We have more tools at our disposal than ever before. So why are so many people still reporting that they work for the worst boss they've ever had?
To uncover this mystery, we've got to rewind a bit, back to the 1970s. That's when Robert K. Greenleaf popularized this concept of servant leadership. It was a beautiful paradigm shift, right? The idea that a leader's main job is to serve their team, not the other way around. And it won. It won the corporate culture war. Pretty much everyone agrees it's the right way to lead. But as you'll see, the way we actually apply it today has been subtly hijacked.
Section 1. The ROI Trap. Service as a transaction.
Our first major plot twist reveals exactly how the original concept of serving others got corrupted by the corporate obsession with return on investment. And this comparison brilliantly illustrates the problem. Imagine a friend asks you to help them move. You happily sweat all day for a $5 pizza and some laughs, right? Because it's a relationship. But what if that same friend handed you a crisp $500 bill to do the exact same work? Suddenly, the fun completely vanishes. It becomes a cold business transaction. You're no longer helping a friend, you're just completing a contracted task. And Antonucci points out that we've done this exact same thing to servant leadership.
So the crucial point here is that modern corporate training turned service into a transaction. We started telling leaders, hey, if you do X for your team is going to do Y for your bottom line. We started focusing entirely on the ROI, higher productivity, less turnover, better margins, rather than genuinely caring for the actual human beings. The true heart of serving was basically swallowed up by a superficial corporate initiative designed just to prove a financial return. Which brings us to Section 2, Enter Servant-Minded Leadership, a new paradigm. So it's time to shift away from transactional management. Antonucci introduces servant-minded leadership. Now really notice that word minded. It's all about mindfulness. Instead of just adopting some quick fix program to boost profits, leaders have got to adopt an active, conscious awareness of their authentic love for the people they lead. You can't just check a box anymore. You have to actively engage with the true, selfless intent behind your actions.
And you can see how this new SML identity is anchored perfectly right here. Those hands offering up a light bulb, holding a heart, it symbolizes that a true leader's primary goal is facilitating the absolute best for their team. It's about authentic care, empathy, and innovation driven by love, not just some strategic play to squeeze more output from your workers.
Moving on to Section 3, embrace what you don't know. Assume there's more.
Because authentic leadership, it requires profound humility and the willingness to totally let go of our egos. The literal second a leader genuinely thinks they have all the answers is the exact second they stop effectively leading. A full cup can't be filled, right? Servant-minded leaders operate from a baseline of humility. They naturally assume there are details they aren't aware of, and they actively seek out the perspectives of others before making any big decisions.
A truly servant-minded leader absolutely abandons that old my way or the highway mentality. Antonucci shares a brilliant insight here. Sometimes letting your team tackle a task their own way, even if you think your way is slightly better or faster, creates massive ownership and pride. When you try to dictate every single step, you might think you're setting them up for success, but honestly, you're actually just serving your own ego. Empowering your team to find their own solutions is what true leadership is all about.
Next up, Section 4. People are proper nouns. People are unique.
Let's think back to elementary school grammar for a second to see how this shapes the way we view the human beings working alongside us. Your team? They are not just a collection of generic nouns like employees, assets, or headcount. No, they are proper nouns. They are specific, entirely unique individuals with distinct lives, unique challenges, and immense value. A servant-minded leader doesn't just know about their team, they actually know them.
And treating them like proper nouns brings us to a massive, absolutely crucial step in servant-minded leadership. And honestly, it begs the question, are you even listening? We really have to move beyond merely hearing words. It's about actively listening with a genuine intent to understand and learn. You've got to drop those robotic active listening tricks, like just nodding your head while your mind is literally 100 miles away. True listening means genuinely valuing the speaker, hearing both their words and their hearts. And critically, you have to completely avoid the arrogant assumption that you already know what they're going to say or that you hold all the answers. Truly paying attention means dropping your preconceptions, making note of what matters deeply to them, and following up sincerely. That is the real core of authentic connection.
Which leads us right into Section 5, Take Action Today, from theory to practice.
Because commitments don't change lives, right? Actions do. Reading about leadership is easy. Actually doing it is the real challenge. So start your journey by asking yourself these 3 childlike yet profoundly foundational questions. Why am I here? What is my purpose? How can I make a difference? Just asking these questions clarifies your true motive as a leader and shifts your focus totally away from your own success to the actual impact you can make on others.
Another huge piece of advice here, get a mentor. And I don't just mean a coach who sets big picture goals for a whole team. I mean a mentor, someone you highly respect who has already walked your desired path. When you are deep in the trenches of leadership, a mentor provides that critical third-party perspective you desperately need to stay honest, process your thoughts, and keep your ego totally in check.
Finally, we have the TNT goal-setting method. This is how you translate all this into tangible daily habits. First, make your goals time-oriented, meaning they need clear deadlines. Second, make them narrow, highly specific, and measurable, like I'm going to have one meaningful conversation with a team member each week. And third, make them temperate, meaning they're challenging, sure, but actually realistic for your schedule. Vague intentions simply won't cut it. You need actionable TNT goals.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on today. Take a hard look at your own daily interactions. When you roll out a new policy or check in on an employee or try to resolve a conflict, are you just trying to protect the bottom line, or are you truly operating from a place of authentic love and service? Reclaiming the true heart of leadership starts entirely with your answer to that question. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I seriously challenge you to step out and lead with a truly servant-minded heart today.